Started recording. Okay, fine. Okay. So when we use the find element method, okay, what does it return?
Web element.
Web element. Okay. So when we have multiple elements with the same locator, that means with the same X path or same ID something, and the find element method returns all those things. But which one it will return the find element method when we have multiple elements?
First one.
First one. Okay. What does the find elements method return?
Multiple web elements.
Yeah. I mean, what does
Because
it return? What is the return value?
web, I think it is a web elements.
Yeah, what is that one? I mean, it returns web elements, all the web elements, but it is
Yeah.
a list of web elements. Return that.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
a
okay,
collection of.
just remember that one. Okay, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
list of web elements. Okay.
So we're saying multiple web elements and list of web elements. Like, may I know the difference, please?
Yeah, list means it's a collection, right? Multiple web elements means it returns all the web elements, which is nothing but a collection. But the collection is a list basically.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, I got it.
a
Because you
collection.
are saying that it will accepting duplicates as well.
Yes, yeah. So it
Okay.
returns all those web elements in the form of a list. Okay, that's
Yeah,
why we
yeah,
can use a loop on top of. Yesterday we have seen that one, right? We have used a
yeah,
loop and
yeah,
we have
yeah.
entered the values into all those web elements. Okay,
Okay.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
Today let's start with this working with the text areas, checkboxes, radio buttons, drop downs, and multi-select all these things. Okay. Okay, so text areas it is simple one. We have already seen some of the examples. So basically, text area we can use these two methods: send keys and the clear. Okay, just let me open this one. Yeah. Okay, so this is a text area that we have. Okay, so
So one question was there yesterday. Actually, I was
yeah,
trying forgot to ask. Like, web elements method doesn't like it supports send keys.
web elements method it returns a list basically. Okay, so
Okay,
you
okay,
cannot use
okay.
directly the send keys. So you have to use get get method on top of that list of web elements, and you have to get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
particular web element you want to work with, and then you can use send keys or clear method.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yesterday we have seen that one. For
yeah,
example, if we
yeah,
want to
yeah,
enter a value into the second one, okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so this is the same thing we have seen yesterday. Okay,
yeah,
so then you have to use get method. Okay, and then on top of that you can use, if you use get method, then it will return that particular web element. Then you can use send keys and the other thing. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. Now, yeah, let us see this one text area. Again, it is a simple one. You can use either clear or send keys method. Just to try this one. Okay. You just have to find that one, find that element by ID or by XPath or anything, and then you can use clear and you can use send keys method. Okay. Let me show it to you. Just let me create a new class here. New class is um, text area. New sorry. First, let me create a create let me create a new package first. Okay, new packages. Okay, different web elements. And okay, and in this one, under this one, I'm creating a new class here. The class is okay text areas. Okay, so I'm just copying the first couple of lines of code here. Okay, I'm copying this one and I'm putting this one under this. Okay, So now we have we are opening the Chrome driver dot. We are setting up this property, and then we are opening a browser for Chrome driver. We are maximizing this one, and then we are opening this URL. Okay, and now let us import. Let us add this throws declaration. Okay, now let us see. Okay, sorry, this one. Okay, now let's inspect this one. Let us inspect this text area element. So this text area, we have IDE or name property. We can write an XPath for this one. Let us write an XPath so that you'll be used to it. So this is a text area. Okay, so two forward slashes text area. Okay, and then shift at the rate ID equals to description. Okay, so we have written the XPath for this one. Let's copy this one. Now driver dot find element by dot XPath, and then the XPath dot. First, let us clear this one. Okay, we have some text in this one. Okay, hello. Okay, let us clear this one first. Okay, and then I'm waiting for 2 seconds here. Okay, and then let us enter some value into this text area. Okay, once we clear this one, okay, dot send case. Okay, let's say I'm entering Selenium tutorials, something. Okay, let me close this one and let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, it opened this page, and now it cleared this one, and then it entered Selenium tutorials. Okay, this is what, like, you can work. This is how we can work with text areas. It is similar to text box only. Okay, all the operations and everything are similar to text box only for this one. Okay, so that is about text area. Okay, now let's work with checkboxes. Okay, so what are the operations that we can do with the checkboxes? We can select a checkbox, we can unselect a checkbox, and we can check if it is already selected or not by using is selected method. We have seen all these methods, right? Is displayed and is visible and is selected method. These three methods we have seen yesterday. Okay, so we can use is selected for checkboxes. Okay, and okay, now let us see this one. Okay, we have a couple of checkboxes here. Okay, first let us use is selected method and check and see if this one I have a boat is selected or not. Okay, so let me create a new program for this one. Okay, I'm just copying and pasting the same thing. Okay, so I'll say check boxes. Okay, checkboxes 1. This is the class name. Okay, so under the checkboxes, let me remove these things. Okay, so we are opening until this one we are opening the practice page. Okay, so let us identify this element first. Okay, I have a bot. Let me inspect this one. Okay, so we have this div id cb group 1. We are getting this cb group 1, and then if we expand that one, we'll see this one. Okay, this is name property we have. Okay, name is equal to vehicle 3, or we have a value property as well. Okay, where it is showing I have a boat. Okay, let me use this vehicle 3, which is the name property here, and let's identify this one. Okay, so control F, 2 forward slashes. This is an input tag, input. Okay, shift at the rate, name is equal to, okay, and the name is vehicle 3. Okay, so we have identified this one. Let me copy this one. Let me go here. Okay, driver dot find element. Okay, by dot xpath. Okay, so now I would like to find out if this is checked or not. Okay, so I will use is. If you use, like, dot is, then we will see is displayed, is enabled, is selected. Is selected is mainly for radio buttons and checkboxes. Okay, so let me copy this one. Okay, so what does this return is selected? It returns a boolean value. So I'll use a boolean variable here, boolean I'll use like is selected, boolean is selected. So it returns true or false. So if this is true, if is selected, then we will say system.out.println. Okay. The checkbox is already selected. Else, if this is false, okay, we'll say system.out.println. The checkbox is not selected. Okay, let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, since it is already selected, it should print the checkbox is already selected. Okay, now it is done. Okay, the checkbox is already selected. Okay, and if you use like vehicle 1 or vehicle 2, let me use vehicle 2. Okay, which is this one. The second one, I have a car. The name is vehicle 2. So I have updated this one to vehicle 2, and if I run this one, okay, run as, let me close this one each time. Okay, after this is done, I'm waiting for the red dot sleep of 2002 seconds, and then the driver dot quit. Okay, I'm quitting the driver. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, to open the page, and once it is done, then it will close this browser. Okay, the driver is closed, and now it is saying that the checkbox is not selected. Okay, so this is one operation that we can do. Okay, and this one. Now let us click on one of these elements. Okay, since I have like I would like to click on this. I have a bike. Okay, and the name is vehicle 1. Okay, so what we can do, let me remove this one. Okay, so driver, sorry. Okay, let me remove this if thing here. Okay, I would like to click on this first one, which is the property is vehicle 1. Okay, and I would like to click on this. I have a bike. Okay, so I'm changing this X path to vehicle 1. Okay, done. And for checkboxes, what method we can use? It is click method. Okay, so we can use click method for checkboxes. Okay, and then we'll wait for 2 seconds, and then we'll close this one, close the driver. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, so if you see it, you see clicked on this, I have a bike, and then it closed. Okay, okay, now let us say if we want to uncheck any of the checkboxes, if it is already selected, then how to do that one? Again, we have to click on that. That's all, right? For example, we have this one. If you want to uncheck this one, just click on it one more time. That's all. This will be unchecked. Okay. So let us say I would like to uncheck the third one. Okay. Control C, Control V. I would like to uncheck the third one. Okay. Just click on that one more time. That's all. Okay. So thread dot sleep to that. Okay. First we are clicking on this vehicle 1. Okay, and then we are unchecking the third vehicle which is already selected. Okay, let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, so first we have clicked on this one, we have checked that one, then we have unchecked this third one. Okay, these are the only two operations that we can do. One is we can check whether that particular checkbox is checked or not, and the next one is where we can check and uncheck an checkbox. Okay, so that is about checkboxes. Okay, let me see the text areas. It is done. Working with checkboxes. Okay, so we have seen all this thing. Okay, finding the total number of checkboxes and values. Okay, so how to do this one? If you see this one, we have like three checkboxes here, and we have another group which is like multiple checkboxes. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 checkboxes we have. Okay, in this checkbox group one we have three, and we have multiple checkboxes here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, we have a total of like 10 checkboxes on this page. Okay, how do we find the total number of checkboxes? Any idea?
By using find elements method,
Yes, yeah, we have to use find elements method, and then what we have to do?
and we will just try to identify the count of the checkboxes
Yeah,
by
yeah.
using a loop.
No, why do you want to go for a loop? Actually, we have size method, right? You can use
Okay, yeah.
size method, which returns the number of elements in that list. That is nothing but the number of checkboxes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now, how do we identify like all these elements using find elements method? You have to use
Price
you
method.
have to write an XPath. Okay, but
Okay.
how do you write the XPath for these checkboxes? Basically, when it is a checkbox, you have something called input type is equal to checkbox is there,
Yes.
right? So you can use this property. Okay, for example, if I write it like an input, okay, shift at the rate type is equal to, okay, checkbox. See here, here itself it is showing like 1 of 10. That means we have a total of like 10 checkboxes on this one, on this page, right? If you use like type is equal to checkbox, because all the checkboxes, they will be like input, they start with input tag, and the type is obviously checkbox for this one. Okay, so we can use this input type is equal to checkbox. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay, let me go into this one. Okay, mm, let me take out like all these things. Okay, so I'm saying driver dot find elements method. Okay, find elements method, and then I'm using this input type is equal to checkbox. Now this returns a list of web elements. Okay, so in order to get the count like all the web elements, okay, with that particular XPath, then I can use dot something went wrong. Find element. Okay, sorry. Now find the elements. Once we use the find elements, then we have to use by dot XPath within this. Okay. So now we can use dot this stuff. Okay, I have to close one more time. This one. Okay. Dot size method. Okay. It will return all the web elements with that particular XPath. Okay. Since it is returning an integer here, the size is nothing but integer. I'll say int number of checkboxes equals to this one. Now I can print system.out.println. Okay, total number of checkboxes are plus number of checkboxes. Okay, this is how we can print any element. It's not only checkbox, like you have to identify like that particular element, and then you can use find elements method. Okay, if I run this one, it should print the total count as 10. Okay, so the total number of checkboxes are 10. Okay, so this is how you can get the total number of checkboxes. How do we get the values? Okay, what does it mean by value? Okay, basically this is the text we see on this particular for this particular checkbox. But if you want to find this value, okay, let us go into this one. See, the value is bike. The value is bike. Here the text that is visible is I have a bike here. Okay, that's the text that is visible, but the value is bike. Here the value is car. Here the value is boat. Okay, so how do we get the values of these particular checkboxes, all the checkboxes? How do we get it?
Uh, we will just
Yeah, we have to use,
using get method.
yeah, and but what is that get method? We have to use get attribute method. We have seen, right? These are all nothing but
Yeah.
attributes only. Okay, so we have to use get attribute method to get all these values. Okay, so now we have got all these checkboxes. Okay, so now we can use a for loop on top of this one. Okay, for int, okay, I equals to 0, I is less than, okay, I is less than number of checkboxes, okay, I plus plus. Okay, we can use this one. Okay, once we use this one, then again we can use this same driver dot find elements method. Okay, I'm using driver dot find elements method. Okay, since it returns a list of web elements, I use get method on top of this one, and I use the index I. Okay, so I will go through one by one. Okay, and then I'll say get attribute method on top of that. Okay, and the attribute is value. I would like to get the value attribute. Okay, since this returns a string, I will say string value. Okay, the value of the checkbox. Okay, and then I'll say system.out.println value. Okay, let me run this one. I don't need this thread dot sleep, which is taking some time. Okay, okay. Now let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, see the total number of checkboxes are 10 and the values are bike, car, boat for all these things. And for these things, the values are, okay, if you go into the value property here, say LJN1, LJN2 like this. Sorry, this is name. The values PHP, Java. Okay, so these are all the values: PHP, Java, C Sharp, and JavaScript, Ruby, and all this. PHP, Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, Ruby, .NET, Python. So all these things. Okay, this is how we can get the values for value attribute value for all the different checkboxes that we have. Okay. Okay. Now the next one is, let us say I have like two groups here. I would like to get it only from one group. I don't want to get all the checkboxes. I just want to get it either from this one, from group one, or from group two. You understand this one? I want to get it only from group one or only from group two. So how do I get this one? Okay.
So one question, Subbu,
Yeah.
like every time the checkboxes will be group wise
Yeah,
everywhere.
definitely. Everywhere it will be group wise only. If you are seeing a set of checkboxes on a particular page, definitely you will have some groups. For example, here I have this is regarding the vehicles. Okay, this is regarding programming languages. What programming languages you will know? Okay, so
Okay, got
definitely there will be two, these are two different things. You cannot have all these things under only one group. Under one group, I have a bike, I have a car, I have a board, and then I know PHP, something like that. You won't be having in the same particular, the same one group. You'll be having definitely two groups. Okay.
yeah, got it,
Okay,
got it.
so I would like to get it only from this group one, not from all the groups. So how to do this one? Okay, so when you are writing the XPath, you have to make sure that you are getting these values only from that particular group. So if you see this one, okay, we have these checkboxes, but on top of that, you have some div id is equal to cb group one. Okay, so if you have this one, this if you use this CP group one in your XPath, then you will be getting values only from this particular group. Okay, so how do you write for this one? First, write XPath for identifying this value. For identifying,
I think you can use if else condition, right?
no, you don't need to use if else condition. In the XPath itself, you use this. Okay, let me start writing this one. Okay, so this is div. Okay, shift at the rate id is equal to, okay, so now I have identified this group, right? I just used this one, div id is equal to cp group one, and I wrote an XPath for this one. Okay, now
Okay.
I would like to get all these ones under this one. So what I will do, I will use parent child relationship here. So slash input, right? I can use slash input. So I get like, only the checkboxes under this particular group. See, I'm getting like only input, input, and input. If you see here, this is one of three. Okay, so now I'm able to identify only this one. Similarly, if you want to identify like, the checkboxes under this one, inspect. Okay, so sorry, I think let me again. Okay, so this is CB group 2. So if you use like, CB group 2 here, okay, see, we are getting like 1 of 7. Okay, so if you want to identify like, only that particular the checkboxes under the particular one, we have to just update this XPath here. So here, let me copy this one, paste it here. So I'm using CB group 1. Okay, so now I'm getting like, only the checkboxes under this CB group 1, and I'm getting the size. Here it has to come as 3 now, and it has to show only the value properties from this particular checkbox group. Okay, so let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so the total number of checkboxes are 3, and they are bike, car, and boat. Okay, this is how you can get the values under a particular group. Okay, similarly, if I change this one to CB group 2, okay, it all like, how you write the XPath, so that's all. Okay, so the total number of checkboxes are 7, and they are bike, car, boat. Why do we why did we get this one like bike, car, boat? We should not get this one, but let us see what we have. PHP, Java. Okay, I haven't changed this XPath here, right? I haven't changed this XPath. Okay, I have to change the XPath in the for loop also. It is still getting like, the type is equal to checkbox only. So it is getting it from the first group also. Okay. Okay, find elements. Yeah. So let me run this one. Run as Java application. So the values are PHP, Java, C Sharp, JavaScript, Ruby, .NET, and Python. Okay, so this is how you can work with checkboxes. Let me see if I have anything else on this one. Yeah, that's all. Okay, so what are the operations that you can do on a checkbox? You can check if a checkbox is already selected or not by using is selected method. Okay, once that is done, then what you can do, you can select a checkbox. You can check a checkbox, or you can uncheck a checkbox. How do you do that one? Using just click method for both checking and unchecking. Okay, and how do you find like the number of elements, number of checkboxes on a web page? You can write an XPath using slash double slash input type is equal to checkbox. Okay, if you use that one, you can get like all the checkboxes on a particular page. How do you get under a particular group? Basically, it depends on how you write the XPath. You can use the parent tags, IDs, and all those things, and you can write an XPath to identify only that particular group, and then you can identify like all the checkboxes under that particular group. How do you get the value property of a checkbox? We have to use get attribute method to get the value property. Okay, so this is how we work with checkboxes. Any questions on this one, on the checkboxes?
Suburi, if you want to find that whether multiple checkboxes are selected or not at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
so in that case, every time we have to pass the value of each and every checkbox, and we have to store somewhere by assigning a variable, and then we have to use if else condition. It will be like so.
I mean, if you want to check like if a
Multiple values are selected or not.
yeah, basically you have to loop over like each element. You have to find the total number of checkboxes, loop over that one, okay,
Okay.
and then you can use the if condition to see if it is already selected or not. Is selected method on each element you use is selected method, and then you can see that one whether it is selected or not.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can try that one. Just try it, like just go. For example, in this one, in this page itself, like if you see this one, yeah, see here, like we have two elements selected. .NET
Yeah.
and Python. Okay, so what
Yeah.
you have to do is you have to use find elements method to loop over each element of this one, and then you can use each selected method. Use an if else condition. If it is selected, then print that like okay, the value is selected. If it is not selected, then print that it is not selected. That's all. You have to use a loop over there.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is radio buttons. Okay, it is similar to checkboxes, but the thing is that the radio buttons are basically used for they are used for single selection. You have multiple options, but you have like a single selection, then you can use this radio buttons. Okay, since they are for single selections, we have discussed this one earlier. The name property will be same for all the radio buttons. So if you use a name property to identify a particular radio button, you may get like wrong results because the name property is same for. So you have to definitely use a different property, and generally we use this value property here, okay, to select a particular radio button. Okay, radio buttons have the same name, and that's how HTML knows that they belong to the same group, and it will allow you to select a single option. If the names are different, then you will be able to select more than one radio button, but that is not the intention. We should be able to select only one option. Okay, we have seen this one. If the name property is different for the radio button group, then we will be able to select multiple radio buttons. But for radio buttons, the actual intention is we should be able to select like only one value. So the name property will always be same for a group of radio buttons. Okay. Since the name and type are same for radio buttons, we can't use those in XPath to find radio buttons. The value attributes differ, and we can use this to select the radio buttons. Okay, now let me show you this one. Okay, so we have these radio buttons here, male, female, and other. Okay, so again, we can use is selected method to check if a radio button is already selected or not, and we can use dot click method to select a particular radio button. Okay, that's what we can do. Let me go into this one. Okay, let me copy this one and paste it here. Radio button. So in this one, okay, I'm using the same thing. Let me remove this one. Okay, let's say I would like to check if this male radio button is already selected or not. Okay, so now let me go into this one. So here we have to identify this radio button first. So we have this value property is equal to male. So let's write an XPath based on this one. So the tag for this one is input. So input, okay, and then shift at the rate value property equals to male. Okay, so we have identified this one. So let me copy this one. I'll say driver dot find element by dot XPath, okay, and dot is selected. Okay, which is already selected or not. Okay, I can say system.out.println directly here, because it returns a boolean value. It displays true or false here. Okay, instead of capturing that value into a boolean value, I'm directly printing that true or false. Okay, let me close this one. After this, driver dot close, or driver dot quit method we can use. Driver dot quit. Okay, so this is what I can do. Let me run this one, run as Java application. You should print either true or false, but since mail is already selected, so it prints true. Okay, For example, the same thing we can also use it for next one, which is female. Okay, let me go into this one. So here we have the value as female. Okay, let me copy this one. So I am updating this one to female. Now it should return false because it is not already selected. So if I run this one, okay, so it is printing false because female is not selected. So how do we select female? Okay, so for that one, what we can do, we can use dot click method. Okay, dot click method we can use. Okay, for radio button. So if I run this one, so now female will be selected. Okay, it is open, maximized, and if you see here, so something, okay, it immediately closed. Let me use a sleep method here. I'm waiting for 4 seconds here. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so it's selected female now. Okay, and after 4 seconds it is closed. So you can use click method to select a particular radio button. Okay, so let us see, like, what are the other exercises that we have. Okay, finding the total number of radio buttons. Again, this is similar to uh, your checkboxes that we have seen, that exercise. Okay, so again you can use type is equal to radio to find out, like, that particular checkbox number of radio buttons, sorry, number of radio buttons. So we can say driver dot find elements method we have to use, and instead of this value property we will use, what is the type for radio buttons? The type is, what is the type for radio buttons? Type is radio.
Radio.
Okay, so we will use type is equal to radio here. Okay, and then since this is a find elements method, it returns a list of web elements, so we can use size method. Okay, so now I will put this one system.out.println. Okay, driver. Okay, instead of, like, taking this one into an integer variable and printing it, I'm directly using it in this one, so that it returns the size and it will print the size of that one. Okay, I'm taking out this thread dot sleep. Now if I run this one, it should print the number of radio buttons on that particular page. Okay, so the number of radio buttons are 3. So this is how you can get the number of radio buttons on a page. Okay, the next one is, okay, clicking the radio buttons one by one 10 times. Okay, this is just a small example that I given. It's not really, like, the case that, like, you will get these kind of things in your actual project. But let's say I want to click all these check boxes one by one for 10 times. Okay, how do I do this one? Okay, first I will get all these the number of radio buttons. The number of radio buttons I am putting it, like, in a variable. Okay, let us say this size. So int number of radio buttons. Okay, so I have captured the number of radio buttons. That means we'll be having, like, 3 in this one. Okay, now I'm writing a for loop here. How many times I would like to click on each of those radio buttons? I would like to click on it, like, for 10 times. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than 10. Okay, I plus plus. Okay, I have written an initial for loop here. Since I would like to click on this one for 10 times on each of these, then I'm using this one, I is less than 10. Okay, now since I have, like, 3 radio buttons, each time I have to click on each of those 3 radio buttons. So I'll use another for loop for int j equals to 0. J is less than, now I'm using this radio buttons. Okay, number of radio buttons. Okay, and then j plus plus. So now I'm going through each of these radio buttons. Okay, now I'll use driver dot find elements method. Okay, find elements method, and then I will use by.xpath. Okay, I'll use this same xpath here. Let me copy this xpath. Okay, since this is find elements method, I get like a list of like all the web elements. Out of this, I'm using get of I, get of j method I have to use. Okay, because I have to get like through, I have to go through each and every element, and then I'll use dot click method. Okay, so what it will do, first it will take the I value becomes 0, and then it becomes the j value becomes 0 to 3. That means it goes through each and every radio button, and then I'm using driver.find elements dot get. Okay, so I will go through each and every web element. I'm clicking on this one. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Just observe the radio buttons here. Okay, so the radio buttons, see, it is clicking like in each of these like 10 times. Let's say I use like thread dot sleep. Okay, each time I'm waiting for 200 milliseconds. Okay, 200 milliseconds I'm waiting, so that you can see it like. Okay, let me run this one. So just observe this one. So it is checking each of those radio buttons like for 10 times. It is going into the particular loop. Okay, so this is just a sample, like if you want just for a practice purpose, I'm just giving this example like how to click like each of those radio buttons for 10 times. Okay, so you can try this one. Okay, printing the value attributes of the radio button. So how do you print the value attributes of the radio button? Basically you have to loop through each, and let me take out this one. Okay, so I'll use a for loop here for int I is equal to 0. Okay, I is less than number of radio buttons I plus plus. Okay, then I can I'll use driver dot find elements method. Okay, driver dot find elements of, again the same thing, the same XPath I will use. Okay, since it returns a list of web elements, okay, I will use sorry, okay, sorry, we have to use by.xpath, right? By.xpath. Okay, and then I'll use dot get of index. Index is I value I use. Okay, dot I'll use get attribute of value. Okay, so now I'll directly print this one, system.out.println. Okay, sorry. Okay, system.out.println. I'm printing all the value attributes. Okay, so if I run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so it is male, female, and other. These are the value attributes. Okay, you have to just loop it through all those elements, and you have to use get attribute of value. Okay, now let us see any other. Okay, selecting a radio button by comparing the value attribute. Okay, for example, like I have these radio buttons, I would like to select it like select the element by comparing this value attribute. That means I would like to select an element by if the value property is female. Okay, how do we do this one? We'll simply just like okay, let me take out this one. So we are getting this value attribute here, right? So let us uh, capture it into a string, value is equal to value. Okay, now we'll compare this one. Okay, if value equals to, oh sorry, this is a string, right? So How do we compare like two strings? What is the method that we use to compare two strings? Anyone?
Dot equals to method.
Yeah, dot equals. Okay, we can use, normally we use equals ignore case. Okay, equals ignore case, and then if it is female, okay, if it is female, then we have to select that particular web element. Okay, so what we will do, we'll use driver again, the same thing, the same thing that we use. Okay, so but instead of like this get attribute value, we get that element. Okay, and then we use the click method. Okay, once it is done, you don't need to go to the next element because we have already compared the value attribute, so we can use break statement here. Okay, we'll come out of that loop. Okay, if I run this one, let me put like some wait. uh, okay, we'll be waiting for 4 seconds here so that we can see that like in this it has really selected that one. Okay, so now see, it has selected the female. By comparing the value attribute, it has selected that one. For example, let's say I would like to select this other, okay, based on the value attribute. So now if you see this one, the value is other here. So in this one we use if this value is other. Okay, we are using the if condition here and checking if the value is other. Then we are saying that, okay, just click on that particular radio button. Now if I run this one, okay, see, other is selected. Okay, this is how we can work with the radio buttons. Okay, let me see if there are any other examples. Yeah, that's all. Okay, so what we have seen for these radio buttons, we have seen how to select a how to select a radio button basically. So what are the different operations that we can use? We can use is selected method to check if that particular radio button is selected. Okay, and we have used click method. We can use click method to select a particular radio button. Okay, that's what like we have seen in this one. And we have also seen how to find the total number of radio buttons. How do we do it? We use basically the XPath. In the XPath we use, okay, the type is equal to radio. Okay, so, and we use find elements method so that it returns the list of radio buttons, and we can use size method on top of that to find the number of radio buttons. Okay, and then we have seen we used a for loop basically to check the radio buttons one by one, like 10 times, and then printing all the value attributes. So we have printed like all the value attributes. We used a for loop, and then we use get attribute of value to print like all the value attributes. Okay, selecting, okay, we have also seen how to select a radio button by comparing the value attribute. That means we'll get the value attribute, and then we'll use a loop for loop, and then we'll compare that value attribute to the value that we are looking for, and then we will select that particular radio button. Okay, so this is what for radio buttons. Okay, now let us go into the next one, which is drop down list. Okay, so drop down list is a little bit different actually. Okay, so drop down list, like what do we have for drop down list? We generally have this select tag. Okay, select tag. Under the select tag, okay, what are the values that I want to show in the drop down list? We'll use these option tags. Okay, each option have this value attribute and also the text that is shown to the user. Okay, here if you see the value attribute is vulva, but here you have this Volvo 1 is the value that is shown to the user on the web page. Okay, so this is what a drop down list is. Okay, for the drop down list to work with the drop down list, Selenium is providing a specific class called a select class. Okay, to do operations in the on drop down and multiple select. Not only this drop down, but also for multiple selects we use a class called select class. Select is a class which is provided by Selenium to perform multiple operations on drop down object and also multiple select object. Okay, for both the drop down elements and also multiple select drop down elements, we use Okay, what is that we use? We use select class. This class can be found under Selenium support.ui.select package. As select is an ordinary class, so its object is also created by a new keyword with a regular class creation syntax. Okay, we'll see this one. Okay, so we'll use this select class and we create an object for the select class. Once we create an object for the select class, what are the methods that we use to select a particular element from the drop down? Okay, let's say like this is your drop down. Okay, so these are the values that we have: Volvo one, Saab one, Mercedes one, RD one, something like this. Okay, so if I want to select a particular value, okay, there are three ways we can select a particular value on this one. Okay, they are select by index, select by value, select by visible text. Okay, select by index means, okay, the index starts from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. You can use select by index to select any particular value. Okay, or you can also use select by value. We have these value attributes here, right? So you can use select by value and you can pass any of these value properties to select a particular value from the drop down, or you can use select by visible text. Okay, these are the ways that we can select a value from a drop down list. Okay, okay, now let me show you an example on this one, on this single drop downs. Okay, let me go into this one. I'm creating a new element, drop downs. Okay, new class I have created, drop downs, and let me copy these ones. Okay, so I have used this one. Okay, so in order to work with any drop down, so we have to first create a select class object. So select is equal to a new select of, we have to pass the driver object here. Okay, and we have to import this select. Okay, import it from selenium.support.ui. Okay, we have imported this one. Okay, let me see. uh, Cached argument, the constructor is undefined. Okay, so we don't have this constructor. Just let me just check this one. um, Oh, okay. It's not the driver actually. So in this one, okay, it's not the driver that we have to pass, but we have to pass the element, web element we have to pass. So how do we find the web element? First, let us see this one. Okay. So we have an ID for this drop down, for this select drop down, we have an ID. So let's write an XPath for this one. Control F, two forward slashes, and what is the tag for this one? It is select shift at the rate ID is equal to this one. Okay, we got this web element. So we have to pass that element here. So how do we pass that element? Again, we have to driver.find element by dot XPath. Okay, so this is how we create an object for a select class. Okay, select and the object name is equal to new select of, we have to pass the ID, sorry, the web element here. So how do we get the web element? Using driver.find element. Driver.find element returns the web element. So in this one, in the by.xpath expression, we give the xpath for the dropdown. Okay, so it is two forward slashes select at the rate ID is equal to cars underscore single underscore selection. Okay, so now we have created an object for this one. So what is the first, how do we select a value from the drop down list? What is the first method? We have select by index. So select by, okay, so if you see select by index, select by value, select by visible text. So these are the three things that we have. Okay, so we have other methods, deselect. This deselect is for multiple selects. We will see this one, but for single drop downs, we have only the select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. Let's use the first one, select by index. Okay, in the select by index, okay, so we already have this first value selected in this one. Let's select the second value, which is SAB1. Okay, so we will use the index. What is the index for this one? The index is 1 here. Okay, so if I go into this one and select by index 1, okay, and let me use some thread dot sleep. Let us say I'm using 3 seconds here. Okay, and add throws the graph. Okay, so now it has to select, it has to open the page and it has to select this SAAB1. Okay, now let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, it opened the page and it selected SAAB1. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me do like let me put like some thread dot sleep statement here as well. I'm waiting for 2 seconds. Okay, and then finally I'm quitting, driver dot quit. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so it's selected SAB1. So this is by using index. Okay, let me select the value. Let me select by using select by index, and then we have select by value as well. So select dot, okay, select by, let me select by value. So we have to pass the value property here. So if we go here, okay, so we have this one. So what is the value for this one? SAB1, it is SAAB. So let me select this one. Okay, select by value is this one, SAAB. Okay, now let me run this one. Okay, instead of SAAB, like let me use like a different one, which is Mercedes. Okay, value is Mercedes. Okay, let me select this Mercedes value. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, so now see Mercedes one, this is selected. Okay, this is select by value. Now what is the next method that we have? Select by visible text. Okay, select by visible text. So what is the visible text we have? So whatever we see here, so this is nothing but this one. Let us use RD1 here. Okay, so select by visible text, this is RD1. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, let us see now RD1 is selected. Okay, so this is for drop down list. Basically create a select object. How do you create a select object? By using select class, we create a select object, and this is the constructor basically. Okay, so we are passing this one equals to new select, and we have to pass the web element. Okay, we have to pass the web element, and then once you pass this one, we have this select object created, and then we can use select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. Okay, so these are the 3 methods that we can use to work with drop down lists. Okay.
So how it is a constructor because it doesn't have the same class name then?
No, it's the same class name, right? This no, this is an existing class. We are creating an object for the select class. It is not the same class. We are not creating an object for the same class. There is a class that is already defined, select class.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, got it.
and we are creating an object for that select class. So we are using like select is how do you create an object for a class? You use the class name, right? Class name,
Yeah.
and then you give a name for that class, and we'll use new keyword, and then, but this select class, it accepts a parameter. It has a parameter. You can go into this one. Okay, let me, okay, use control button and click on this select. Okay,
Okay.
see the select class is open, select dot class is open. See, this is a select class that we have. Let me go here. This is the okay. So this is a select class we have. Okay, and if you see this one, this is select class, it has a constructor here, public select, and it is accepting a web element basically. So we are
Okay.
creating an object for this select class, and since this has an argumented constructor, so we are passing whatever the argument that it needs, which is nothing but the web element. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So this is how we can work with the drop down lists. Okay, let me see, like, if I have any other exercises. Okay, yeah, you can try this one. This is an exercise for you. Get the value attributes. How do you get the value attributes? Like, for all these value attributes and visible text. Okay, we would like to get the visible text also here. Okay, can you guys like try this one? This getting the value attributes and visible text.
Yes, Subbu, sure.
Okay, try this one. Just use a for loop and go through each and every element in that one, and use get attribute of value, and also use get text method to get the visible text from this one. Okay, so just try this exercise. Okay, dynamic drop downs. Okay, this is also a simple one only. It's not very like complicated one. Let me go into this one. Okay, let me go into this particular page. Okay. Okay, here if you see, like, we have different drop downs based on the value that we select in the first drop down. Okay, it will select the value from the second drop down. For example, if I select like beverages, okay, it will select like, it will show you like coffee and coke. Okay, so I have to select like, please let me select like, this one. Please select. Okay, I have to select like, snacks from this one. Okay, once this is selected, then I have to select like, cookies from this one. How do you do this one? Again, you just try this one. Okay, I'm giving you as an exercise anyhow, but this is also there here also. Just write a select class for this one. Okay, and using the select class, using any of the methods, okay, for this one. Okay, so this is a select id is equal to text one we have. Okay, write a select create a select object for this one and select a value from this one. Now create another select object for the second one by passing this web element on this one for the second one, and select the corresponding value from this one. Okay, I already have this one in this one, dynamic value, dynamic drop down, second drop down based on the first drop down. Okay, so what I have done here is basically we have I have opened this one, and okay, you don't worry about this timeouts at this moment. Okay, implicitly wait and explicit wait, we'll see them later. Okay, but we'll use this one select. I have created a first select object by passing the first web element. Okay, and I am selecting by value snacks. Okay, and then I have created another select object by passing the second drop down list, which is text2. Okay, and then I am selecting the second one. That's all you have to do. Okay, just try this one as well. Okay, so this is about select. Okay, okay, so then generally, like, the question will be like, okay, okay, just give me 1 second. Let me get some water. Okay, and then just give me 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys understand about this drop down list, single drop down list, how to select a value from single drop down list?
Yes.
Okay. Now let us see about multiple drop down lists. Okay, multi-select drop down list. What is the multi-select drop down list basically? Okay, it is similar to select. It is similar to a drop down list only, but you can select multiple values. Okay, that is multi-select drop down list. Okay, so this is a multi-select one. Okay, we can select one value, and you can use the control button, and you can select the other value. Similarly, you can select the same control button and deselect a value from here. Okay. Okay, so now let us see how to do this one. Again, for multi-select also, okay, we will use the same. We have to create a select object only. Okay, we have to create a select object, and we can use the same things like select by index, select by value, select by visible text, but we have methods to deselect also for multi-select. Okay, deselect by index, deselect by value, and deselect by visible text. Or if you want to deselect all, we have deselect all method. That is the only difference between the single drop down and a multi-select one. Okay, we can use, we have the same method to select this one. At the same time, we have options to deselect that one. We can use deselect by index, deselect by value, deselect by visible text, and then we have a deselect all method as well. Okay, let us see all these things. Okay, let me go here. Okay, so let me create a new class. Let me copy the same class here, Control C, Control V, and I'll say multi select. Okay, so I have this multi select. Now I'm creating a select object here. I have to pass. Okay, so then we have a name attribute here. Name is equal to multi select. Okay, again, this is a select one only, but we have multi select, and we'll generally have multiple here, multiple option, and we'll give the size also for this one. Okay, let me identify this one by using this name property. So I use shift at the rate name equals to. So this is the XPath I have created. So let me copy this one and select is equal to, I am passing this XPath. Sorry. Okay, I'm passing the XPath for this multi select one. Okay, so now I have created an object for this one. Okay, now let us select by index. Okay, select by index. So this starts with 0, right? So I'm starting with, okay, by 0. I'm selecting one value by 0. Okay, and then I'm waiting for 1 second here. Okay, 1 second, and then select by value. Let us select a second one by using value. Okay, what is the value here? We have SAAB. Okay, so select by value, this one. Okay, and then I'm waiting for another second here. Okay, and then we have select by visible text. What is the visible text that we have here? Create one. Okay, so we will use, yeah. Okay, these are the three options that we can use. Now it selects a one value by index, one value by value, and one value by visible text. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, run as. Okay, selected the first value, selected the second value, and then it selected the third value. Okay, so this is how we can use the same select by index, select by value, select by visible text. Let me select the last one also. Okay, the last one is ID1, right? So let me select I'm selecting the last one also by using this visible text. Okay, ID1. Okay, now I'm waiting for 3 seconds here. Let me unselect one by one. Okay, So what is that value that we have for unselecting? Select dot deselect. Okay, deselect by index. Okay, I'm unselecting again the first value by index. Okay, and then I'm waiting for 1 second. Okay, and then I am using select dot deselect by value. Okay, and value is SAAB. Okay, I'm again unselecting the second value by value. Okay, and then I'm waiting for 1 second, and then I'm using select dot deselect by visible text. Visible text is create one. Okay, and I'm unselecting the values. Okay, so let us run this one. I'm waiting for like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds here, and then finally once everything is these values are unselected, then I'm waiting for 3 seconds, and finally I am closing that driver. Okay, let me run this one. Run as. Okay, so it is selecting like the values one by one here, all the 4 values, and now it is it will unselect the values one by one by using deselect by index, deselect by value, deselect by visible text. Okay, okay. So now let us unselect all. Okay, so I'm commenting this one, and I'm using select dot deselect all. That means I'm unselecting all the values. Okay, let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, first it will select the values like one by one, and then it will unselect all the values. Okay, if you use deselect all, it will unselect like all the values. Okay, so let me see like if there are any other examples. Yeah, I think like those are the only examples that we have. But these days, like generally people are not using these multi-selects much. I mean, in many web application you see, you won't see like any of these multiple selections. Okay, so yeah, people are very rarely using this multi-select. Okay, so any questions on this one, on this multi-select?
Same, we are not having select all also, like deselect all, right?
No, we don't have like anything like a select all. I don't think that we have any, but you can just like check this one. If you see this, let us see select dot select. You don't have like anything like select all. We have deselect all. Okay, but you don't have anything like a select all. You have only select by index, select by value, select by visible text. These are the only 3 options that you have. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay. So that is about multi-select. Okay. Now let me see this one. Okay, Selenium interview questions on working with the different elements. Okay, let me go into this. Okay, interview questions on how to work with different element. How to check if an element is displayed or hidden on a web page. How do you check this one? We use is displayed method, right? We have seen this one, whether it is displayed or not. You remember this one, this method? We basically have like 3 methods. Is displayed. What are those the 3 methods that we have? Okay, just use any object that you have created and use is sorry, this select is not an object, but let us say like this is the web element. Okay, let's use this web element. Okay, dot is, okay, is displayed, is enabled, is selected. These are all the 3 methods that we have seen yesterday. To find out if an element is hidden or displayed, we can use is displayed. If an element is enabled or disabled, we can use is enabled method. If a checkbox or radio button is selected or not, we can use is selected method. Okay, so if an element is displayed or hidden, then we can use is displayed method. Okay, okay. Now, how to check if an element is enabled or disabled? We can use is enabled method. Okay, how do you remove text in a text box or a text area? We use clear method. How do you pass values to a text box or text area? We use send keys method. How to check if a checkbox is already selected? We use is selected method. Okay. How do you select a checkbox? We use click method. How do you unclear method to unselect? How do you can we use clear method to unselect a checkbox that is already selected, already checked? No, we don't use clear method. We have to click again on that particular checkbox, right? Okay, so how to find the total number of particular elements on a web page? We use driver.findElements method and then size method on top of that to get all the elements, the total number of elements. How do you get the value of an element on a web page? We use get attribute of value. How do you limit the scope of this is not needed actually. Okay, how do you limit? Yeah, don't worry about this one. This is not needed. Okay. How do you select a radio button on a web page? Using click method. How do you select a value from a drop down list? First, we have to create an object for this select class. So select s is equal to new select of, and we have to pass that web element. Okay, driver.find element. And then we can use select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. We can use any of these. Okay, how to get a text, how to get the text from a drop down list? We can use get text method. We have to identify that particular value and we can use get text method. Can we find the text associated with the checkbox to get using get text method? No. Get text returns null for this. Get text should be used only when the text is wrapped up by the tags. For example, the text inside div or span elements etc. in dropdowns. Also, the text is wrapped by li, okay, li tags. So we use it for dropdowns buttons, not for the input elements like checkboxes, text boxes, etc. Okay, instead we can use the value attribute for those having this get for this using the get attribute of value. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, see, for checkboxes, if you see, okay, let me go into this example. Okay, so I have a bike. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, for checkboxes. Okay, I have a bike. Okay, and so can we get this text using get text method? We cannot, because this is not within any particular tag. If you see, this is an input type is equal to checkbox, but there is no closing tag for this one. If this value is between two tags, then we can use get text method. Okay, if this value is not between two tags, then we cannot get this value. Okay, so I cannot get it like, I have a bike, I have a car, something like that. Okay, but what you can do is you can use get text method on this div id is equal to cb group 1, where you will get all these values. I have a bike, I have a car, I have a boat, something like this. Okay, get all these values, but you cannot get these individual values after these checkboxes. Okay, you can use get text method only to get the text between two tags. That means the text should have a starting tag, okay, and also it should have an ending tag, like, something like closing tag. Then only you can use get text method to get the text between the two between that particular element. Okay, if it doesn't have like, an ending tag, you cannot get it. For example, if you have like, something like input, and then if that input tag is closing after this I have a bike, then you can get this I have a bike, but it doesn't have it like this. Okay, for checkboxes you don't need to close this one. Okay, that is why you cannot get these individual values. Okay, so that is about get text method. Okay, the next one is, how do you select a value from a multiple select value? Again, we have to create a select object for that one, and we have to use select by index, select by value, and select by visible text. How do you unselect a value from multiple select? Again, we have deselect by index, deselect by value, and deselect by visible text. How to unselect like everything? We have to use deselect all. Okay. How to click on a hyperlink using Selenium WebDriver? Okay, we can use click method. Okay, just try this one, guys. Like let's say we have we'll see this one in child windows and all those things, but um, try this one. Okay, let us say I have this one. This is an hyperlink. Okay, this is an exercise for you. Just click on this hyperlink and it will open Google page. Okay, so how do we first identify this web element using link text? Okay, and then use click method on top of this one to click on this. Okay, will you try this one, or you want me to show this? You want me to show this one for clicking the
I
links?
will try.
Yeah,
I will
just try
try.
this one. Just identify. You write an XPath for this one, identify that web element. Okay, you can use link text or partial link text. Driver dot find element by dot link text or by dot partial link text. Okay, and you can identify this element and click on this links, hyperlinks. Okay, okay. Now, how can we maximize the browser window? We have already seen this one. We have seen it, right? Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. This is what we have been using it like in all our scripts. See, after creating the driver object, we are using driver.manage.window.maximize to maximize the browser. What is the difference between find the element and find elements methods? What is the difference between the two, find element and find elements method?
Your find element returns the web element and find elements method returns the
List of
web elements.
list of web elements. Yeah. Okay. So that is the difference between find element. This returns a single matching element. The return type is web element. Okay. We have many methods like send keys, click, etc. under this one. Okay. Once it returns a single web element, we can use send keys or click in. Okay. And another thing is like if it is matching like multiple XPaths or multiple elements, it always returns the first element from that one. Okay, and find elements. This returns a list of web elements. Since this is a list, we use get method first to get a particular web element, and then we can use the methods like send keys, click, etc. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have seen this one. How do you get like all the checkboxes on a page? Okay. How do you get like all the radio buttons on the page? How do you get all the text boxes on a page? How do you get all the hyperlinks on a page? How do you get all the link texts on a page? Okay, you can try these exercises. Okay, we have seen a couple of these where like we got like all the check boxes on a page, and we have also seen how to get like all the text boxes on a page. You can try like all these radio buttons also we have seen, I think. Okay, try this, how to get like all the hyperlinks on a page, and also how to get all the link text for this particular hyperlinks on a page. You can try these too. Okay, any questions until this point? We have seen almost like text areas, checkboxes, radio buttons, okay, single drop downs and multi selects. We have seen all these things so far. So any questions on this one? See, it all depends on like how do you write, how do you identify an element. Basically, we use most of the times XPaths only, and if you are like good with writing the XPaths, that's all. Your job is done. You understand, right? You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, so it is clear.
Okay, so you have to be good is like you have to be good at like writing the XPaths. If you know how to identify an element clearly, that's all. Everything else is like you will be using the same thing. For example, if it is like you want to find the total number of radio buttons, you use a for loop. Basically, you write the XPath, okay, and you use a for loop basically. Okay, so
Yes.
those are all like the extra like Java concepts that we use. So all you have to do is like you should be able to identify that particular element. For that one, since we use mostly XPaths, you have to be good at writing the XPaths. Okay, okay. Now,
Suppose
yeah.
one thing like how you'll be using here the object-oriented programming in this Selenium.
See here, we are using like an object-oriented programming only here. See, we are writing classes here. Okay, basically like okay. Let me tell you. Okay, this one the object, the question will be like, okay, can you give some object oriented programming concepts or oops concepts? Okay, that's what the
Generally,
question.
they are asking that how you have implemented object-oriented programming on your Selenium frameworks.
Yeah, we are using like classes, right? Everywhere we are using classes. That is nothing
Okay,
but you are using like object oriented programming means like you write classes and you create objects for them. That's all.
okay,
Okay, everything that you write, okay, using Selenium with Java, everything that you write is you are creating classes. You are writing it like in the form of classes. That means you are using object oriented programming only. But the thing is like uh, uh, the first thing that you have to understand is what is object oriented concepts. What are the different object oriented concepts we have? We What are the
yeah,
object-oriented concepts are? We have
encapsulation. Yeah,
encapsulation, inheritance, okay, abstraction, polymorphism. These are some of the object-oriented concepts. Okay,
yeah,
so when the what is encapsulation? Actually these all these questions like we have it in the final interview questions list. Okay, because like you have to
okay,
understand first like all these things to understand like those kind of questions. Okay, that's why we have it
okay,
like in the final one. Okay, okay.
okay,
So
okay.
what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but binding the properties and functionalities together. Okay, binding the properties and functionalities together. Okay, in Java, whatever you prepare, you write it as a class. Okay, right? You create like the programs in the form of classes only. Okay, and what does the classes contain? They contain properties. Properties means variables.
Object. Yeah,
Variables.
variables. Yeah, very.
Properties means
Yeah,
variables.
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Functionalities. Functionalities are nothing but methods.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that means the class contains properties and functionalities. That means variables and methods. Right? That means you are already binding the variables. That means the properties and functionalities together in the form of class. So when you are creating a class, that means you are obviously doing encapsulation. That's all. Okay, if somebody asks you like, okay, what is encapsulation? Okay, the first question can be, what are the different object oriented concepts, okay, or oops concepts that we have? Encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. These are all like some of the oops concepts that we have. Okay, what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but binding the properties and functionalities together. So how did you use encapsulation in your programs? Then you can say that, okay, so we are creating a class. A class is nothing but it contains both the properties and functionalities. That means we are using encapsulation when creating a class itself. Okay, that is encapsulation. And similarly, we have abstraction, we have interface, we have polymorphism, we have inheritance. Okay, we'll see all those things like how you use them uh, in Selenium programming.
Okay, so
Okay, you will come to understand like once like all these chapters are completed, then you will come to understand like how we are using all these things. Okay,
okay, so
similarly like we will see like how we use constructors also in this one. Okay, we'll come to those points. Okay, so now, okay, so this is done. Let me go into the next one, which is, yeah, JavaScript alerts. Okay, so what are like alerts basically? Alerts are from JavaScript. Okay, mainly in web programming originally like until some years back, mainly this JavaScript is used for front end validation. Okay, what is a front end validation? Front end validation is nothing but, let's say you have a form where you need to register for something. Okay, and you have to enter like your first name, last name, date of birth, something like that. Okay, you have to enter those values. For example, if you miss any of those values and if you click on submit button, okay, then generally like they use JavaScript on the front end to validate those fields to make sure that you have entered all those values. Okay, there they use this JavaScript to create an alert if you don't enter some required value. For example, you didn't enter your first name, so then if you click on submit, it will show you something like, okay, please enter first name, something like that. Okay, they were all done with JavaScript alerts. For example, in this one, if you see, there are different things here: check, submit, and reset. Okay, if I click on this one, okay, this is an alert. Okay, and if I click on submit, this is another alert. Okay, this is called a confirm prompt. Okay, and if you click on this another one, it is a prompt. Basically, it is also an alert basically. So these are all done with JavaScript. Okay, these are all done with JavaScript basically. Okay. Okay, now let me go into this one. Okay, JavaScript alerts. Basically, there are three types of alerts. They are alert, confirm, and prompt. Okay, these are the three different types of alerts in JavaScript: alert, confirm, and prompt. Alert boxes are used to show some information. Okay, so basically, if you click on this button, check. Okay, this is an alert. Okay, it shows the information that I am an alert. Okay. I'm sorry. So basically alerts are used to show some information. Okay, click on OK and it will go. Okay, and confirm boxes are ask you for some information. That means if you click on this submit button, sorry, reset button. Okay, confirm boxes. Oh, yeah, confirm boxes ask for your confirmation. Okay, ask for your confirmation. If you click on the submit, okay, this is are you sure you want to submit something? Okay, so this is asking for some confirmation. If you click on okay, the information, okay, of course it won't really submit any information here, but this is just a confirmation. If you click on okay, generally if you have like a form where you enter all the details and click on submit, and sometimes it will show you a confirmation message asking you for your confirmation, saying that okay, are you sure you want to submit? Okay, then you click on okay, that information will be submitted. If you click on cancel, then that information won't be submitted. Okay, so this is about confirmation. And prompt boxes ask you for some information and you can enter that and click OK. So if you click on reset, okay, it will ask you for some information and you can enter some information and click on OK, or you can click on cancel. Okay, so these are the three different types of alerts that we have, but generally these days people are not using alerts first of all. So seeing an alert is very rare actually, and that too a confirmation alert or a prompt alert. Seeing a prompt alert is really rare. Okay, you may see a normal alerts like this, but you won't see anything like a confirmation alert or a prompt alert like this. Okay, but you have to know how to work with these alerts. Okay. Okay, now there are four methods that we can apply on these alerts. Okay, one is dismiss method. Okay, for example, you have seen an alert, then we use a dismiss method to dismiss this alert. That means you have to close this alert. Okay, and accept method is mainly for this confirmation alerts. Okay, we can use accept method to click on OK, or you can use dismiss method to click on this cancel button for this what are this for this confirmation alerts. Okay, and then get text or send keys method. So generally send keys method is used for this one, but I don't think it is working at this moment, but I will show you this one. Okay, we can use send keys method to enter some text into this one, and then either you can use accept or dismiss. Okay, so these are basically we have the methods like dismiss or accept. Okay, to work with alerts. If it is a normal alert message, we use dismiss. If it is a confirmation or prompt message, we can use accept also. Okay, but how do we do this one? We have to switch to this to the alert first. Okay, so whenever we see an alert, we have to switch to that alert first. So we'll use driver dot switch to method. Okay, and dot alert. We use this method to switch to the alert first. Once we switch to that alert, then we can use these methods. Okay, so yeah, we'll see this alerts. Okay, see, basically we are switching to this alert. Okay, and then we are getting the text. Okay, this is how we can see. Okay, let us see the time. Okay, it is 7:39. Okay, let me see, like, what do we have here? So we have like alerts and all these things. Okay, anyhow, like we will complete like all these things next weeks. But the only one that may take the whole class is one is the uploading images. It will take some time because you have to understand like how to what are the different kinds of the ways of uploading the images and all those things. JavaScript executor, it will take the whole class, but anyhow, like in the next class, like we'll finish all these things. Okay, so we have started like or when did we start this one? Anyone remember?
December 4th.
Selenium or
4th.
class?
Sorry,
Demo class is on December 4th.
yeah, December 4th we have
Started
started.
on December 4th.
Yeah, it took almost like 1, 2, 3 weeks for us to complete Java, right? So Selenium, I think we started it on 26th. Yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Because my plan is to finish like everything for you by end of January. Okay, 8 weeks. That's what like my plan is. I think like we should be able to finish this one by January. So in the next week we'll finish like this entire core Java, and maybe like we maybe also finish like page object model also, and then we'll go to this Excel operations and test ng. So Maven, anyhow, like you got like some familiarity with this Maven, right? You are able to create the
Yes.
Maven projects now. So
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you are doing right now, like creating a Maven project and adding the dependencies, that's what we do from our side. Okay, even we have some other things, we just need to have a little bit understanding of those, like what is this Maven life cycle. They are simple ones. They won't take much time because you are already started using Maven. Okay, it won't take much time for you guys. Okay, so that one Maven, and then log4j2 we have, and then we have Jenkins, yeah, and then database testing frameworks, hybrid. Okay, yeah, this hybrid framework project. Okay, this project, yeah, it may take like 2 or 3 days of course, like once you come to this point, since you complete like all these things, it won't be much difficult for you to understand like this project. Okay, and then extent reports. How do we use like reports in this one? And then we have Selenium BDD framework and Git. Okay, these two things like that we have. Okay, Git, anyhow, like you should have already like some familiarity with Git right now, because you started using the Git commands. Basically, those are the commands like that we use. Okay, and then we have the Selenium BDD framework, and we also have like a couple of topics on this in Java as well, the extra topics that we discussed. Okay, I'll show you this one. I think like we should be able to finish like in by the end of January. Okay, and then finally, like I will give you the interview questions, all the interview questions like that I have. I mean, once this is completed, then you will be able to understand like all those interview questions. Okay, but practice like every day, whatever like we are discussing, that makes your life easy. And whoever like wants to attend the interviews after January, you can start attending the interviews. Okay. Okay. Fine. Any questions so far?
So, Subbu, like, if we are getting any error message, like, or prompt message in the screen, how will identify that that message has been populated in that particular front end by using JavaScript? How
I'm
to
sorry.
validate that actually? How to validate that messages?
I'm sorry, Ankur, I didn't get your question. So,
Uh,
Yeah.
Actually, my question is like whenever we are clicking something and some error message is there, no,
Mm-hmm.
like this box is not filled or this captcha is incorrect or something like that. Some message populates on the screen.
Yeah.
So how we will validate that message has coming on the screen or not by using this scripting?
Okay, so you want to verify that a particular error message is coming when you are not like
Yeah,
filling something. Yeah,
yeah.
you can do that. Like you can just get that error message and verify that one. You have to write an XPath. You should be able to write an XPath for that error message.
Okay. So
Yeah, you
uh,
understand? You should be able to write an XPath for that error message, basically.
okay, so by clicking any button, and we have that by the time the error message appears on the screen, but it appears very sometime only. Like it is appears and it is goes. So by doing the right click and doing inspect, whether it will be possible for that?
Oh, okay. So you mean to say like, the text is going very quickly. It's like kind of like a tooltip
Yeah,
or like, it appears under that particular text box like for some time,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah, yes,
or sometimes it may also happen that the text box color will change to red color. The border
yeah, yeah,
color will change to red color basically. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
in those cases, basically, like you should take the help of the developers because you won't be able to identify the XPath for that one because it will immediately go away. By the
Yes,
time you
bro.
are trying to right click on that one, yes, there will be some situations. For example, there will be a situation like where when you submit something, okay, when you submit a form, it will show you like a circle kind of thing which is rotate, which will rotate on the screen for some time, and once the form is submitted successfully, then it will disappear. So you have to wait until that circle is disappeared.
Yeah.
You understand that that's also one situation that we faced because, and by the time that circle is appearing, when we try to like get the XPath for that one, the circle will disappear and you cannot get
Yes.
it. Similarly, like for the errors also, yeah, I understand, like that error will appear only for a couple of seconds, and by the time you are trying to get the XPath for that one, it will disappear and the element also will go away from the background. In those
Yeah.
cases, you have to work with the development team. Developers should be able to tell you what that element that they are populating. They will give you the HTML code for that one. Okay, so when you don't like enter the value in this one, and if you click this one, okay, this is the HTML code in the background. We are populating it for 2 seconds, for 3 seconds, like that. Once you get that one, then you can write an XPath for that.
Okay.
You
So
got it? See, if it is there on the web page, yes, definitely you can write an XPath for. If something is disappearing from the web page, you cannot write an XPath for that one. Definitely. Okay,
okay.
it should be there on the web page for you to write the XPath correctly, right? If it
Okay.
is not
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
then it is the development. You have to work with the development team and ask them, okay, I'm getting this error. Okay, so what is that HTML code that you are populating?
Okay.
Okay, then they will give you that HTML code, and they will also tell you, okay, in this place we are populating this HTML code.
Okay.
Okay, then you
And
can write an XPath for that one.
yeah. And one more thing, Subbu, like some web pages take
Mhm.
some time to open and come into the screen. The like take to like loading time is like slow for some web.
Yeah. So for that one, we have something called synchronization. Okay,
Okay.
where you have
Okay.
to wait for the page to load. Okay, so we have different ways of synchronizing. We call it as synchronization. Okay, so
Okay.
by the time like the page loads, your script tries to go and work on that page, but by the time the page like won't be loaded, so your script will fail at the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in those cases we have something called like synchronization. We have implicit wait and explicit wait for those things. We'll see them. Like we have those concepts in Selenium, core Selenium. Yeah, synchronization topic, we have it here.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see them like how to handle those kind of situations.
Okay.
Okay, and any other questions? We'll see like the examples for this alerts on Monday. Okay.
And Subbu, like by doing automation also, we can also verify the like performance of the web page, how it is
No, no,
performing.
no, 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 no. You cannot do the performance testing using the Selenium. Selenium is mainly for functional testing and also regression testing. It's not for performance testing. Performance testing, like we have different tools for that one. We have load balancer, which is by HP company. Okay, so we use
Okay.
load balancer for doing load testing, and
Mhm.
we have like another tool also. There is another tool.
JMeter.
Yeah, JMeter for doing the performance testing. We have JMeter. So generally we have like a separate team for that one, performance testing team. We have like different teams generally. Like we have manual testing team, we have automation testing team, we have performance testing team, we have security testing team. Security testing
Okay.
team like will be completely different. Generally, we have like a third parties in the previous project that I was working. Okay, so they have the company has a third party where they call those people for security testing, and those people will do the security testing for these applications. Okay, that's a separate team. So yeah, like that, like we have separate teams for these different activities, and we have separate tools for them.
Okay.
But if you want to create like any transactions or anything, yes, you can use Selenium for doing those transactions.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mm, any other questions? Let me see. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Like I'll talk to you guys again on Monday. Okay.
Okay,
And
Subbu.
I'll show you the example. I'll start again from this one, but basically we'll finish like the basic core Selenium, and maybe like page object model also we'll try to finish by next week. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you then. Okay. I'll talk to you on Monday. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.